Huh. What the? Oh. Stay. As you guys saw in the last video, we extended the top hat mounting position. I slanted the sleeves. I installed ball joint extensions for big tilt, and then I installed tie rod extensions. It's honestly one of the most fun videos I've ever filmed, and to be coming back to YouTube and to drop such a solid video for you guys just makes me so happy. So let's get started on today's video. Not only are we doing maintenance, wheel bearings, ball joints, we're also gonna be extending the lower control arms. We already did that in the previous video, but we put in some old extensions, and today we're gonna be building some even longer ones that are gonna be brand new. We're gonna paint them, and they're gonna be solid. Big tilt. Of course, just my luck. As soon as I take the wheel off, I have to put it back on to get the axle nut out. You win today. Honestly, when I had this wheel mounted and I was shaking it, there was literally no side-to-side motion, which is great, which means this bearing's pretty good and must have been changed quite recently. The only reason I was gonna change this bearing today was because that bearing on the driver's side is problematic, has shake side to side, and I truly don't wanna drive on that one. For now, I feel safe enough just mounting up the ball joint and building the extensions for the control arms and not doing the bearing today, maybe getting this car on a lift and doing it another time where I have more access to the bolts to get the caliper off in order to do the bearing and so forth. So from center to center on this bolt is exactly 1 inch. So this extension is for babies. We need to bring this plate out, drill the holes further, and make big boy camber. But what's great about this piece is even though I made it 3 years ago, it's a little bit smaller than what I need. The holes are drilled out perfectly and they're a template, and I'll be able to mark a hole, slide it a little bit, and put exact measurement holes exactly where I need them. I have my template clamped down, I got my punch, I got my hammer, I got my measuring tape, I got my template ball joint. I'm stoked. We got 3 of these holes drilled. They're nice and snug. Now we just got to mark out where 2 inches is behind and drill 3 additional holes. Beautiful. Now, as far as the ball joint goes, it needs to have this cup area cleared out in order to sit flat. And as you can see, the bolts don't line up. So when I do line them up, theoretically, it's just a rough draft, but that's how far I'm going to go in. So I'll be able to get this in here, do a decent amount of damage, and then be able to work it with the grinder and just cut a bunch of slits just so I can make that rounded edge. I don't want it to look all hacked up like this one. It may not look like much right now, but in a few minutes, it's gonna be all nice and rounded out. Since it was so far on the edge, I couldn't use a hole saw, is why I decided to use the step bit and to do 3 step bit holes, and then I can just cut the edge off, and then round this out with the grinder, and it's gonna look so good. Not my best work, not as hacked. We're definitely gonna clean it up a little bit more, but that fits in there beautifully. And just like that, I trimmed up the sides. It fits into the car. The ball joint mounts up. Everything's great. And I didn't trim it any crazy way to save weight. I wanted it to be as structural as possible, so I left metal everywhere that I could. And now it's time to paint it. Now that I got the extension all painted up, I'm gonna take the time to let that dry and also remove this ball joint. In order to remove the ball joint, you need a special tool, but what I'm gonna do is just loosen the nut and it will push against the axle and I'll actually push it down. I've done this before, so let's get this thing out of here. So I'm at the point where the ball joint nut is about to hit the axle, and before it actually hits the axle, I'm gonna go ahead and try to wiggle it out, pry it out with like a pick, push it down. And if that doesn't work, I'm just gonna keep loosening the nut, which is then gonna push it down and we'll get it out. I got a wedge in between the axle and the bolt. I hit it in there. It looks like it's moving, so I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the nut some more, which is gonna apply pressure and hopefully push it all the way down. So tight. I wish that was filming. The explosion sound was so loud. As you guys can see, I got it out. Oh my God. If you heard it, was like BAM! Oh, I gotta show you guys this nightmare before I get to the part. So I got the rubber skirt off, which then allowed me to get to the ball joint pedestal, the threads. This finally got the lock on here. And then I had to heat the Teflon threads up with my torch to get that off. Oh my gosh, you don't even understand. I've been at it for like 2 hours. Okay, it turns out that it was actually only 50 minutes. It was 6:30 and now it is 7:20, so that's how long it took to get it out, but my hands are so dirty. And that was pretty fun. I apologize you guys weren't there with me. I got the ball joint in. I had to sacrifice, an Allen key, but now I got one for both sides and future tooling. Oh my God, dude. It's about to get bolted up. It's about to get bolted. Look at that. Look at that. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Come on. Come on, baby. Dude, this is nuts. I just moved the Mark 6 so I can get a better view of this. Oh my. All right, this one, I gotta let it down slow. Like, real slow, because the fitment is insane. Yeah, we gotta fix that. I'm gonna make these spacers into 1.5 instead of 2, just so I could suck that lip in a little bit, because it was just hanging over, and you know, we need to be tucking. I couldn't even set the car down on its own weight last night. I had to put that block and that piece of wood underneath the subframe, just because I didn't want the fender to get crushed because it's in such good condition. All right, well, I got that out. I'm just gonna move this hole back a little bit. We're gonna have to do some massaging in this area again, but I gotta repaint it anyway. 1 inch was too small, 2 inches is too big. You guys saw the lip just barely hanging over the fender. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, drill a hole right on the edge, leave a little bit of material here, and then once I get all the holes drilled, I'm literally just gonna cut this in the chop saw, round this out again, and this is gonna be a 1.5 inch bracket instead of a 2 inch bracket. Fitment will be much better. Oh, she's a beaut, Clark. Got this bracket all drilled out for 1.5 inch. Got the center clearanced out for the ball joint. And now if we look closely, the ball joint bolts right up. Just got her all painted up. She's dried. She's ready to bolt into the car. As you guys can see, I literally just lopped the ears off. I said, screw it. We don't need those other holes. Probably never gonna use them. And these plates are so easy for me to make. It's like an hour-long process. The only reason I'd really need to make longer brackets is if I ran bigger lips, smaller barrels, and I wanted to tuck it in more and kick the bottom out. But I'm probably never gonna do that. So these are probably gonna live on the car for life. They're painted really nice, and they'll outlive the vehicle for sure. All right, well, with the bracket being bolted on, looking good, being all secured by fasteners, it's time for us to bolt this wheel on, get those blocks out, and see how she looks. Everybody say in the comments, please tuck. All right, well, now we got this bracket 1/2 inch shorter. We went with 2 inches, too much. We went with 1.5. Hopefully it's right in the center, all right? Fingers crossed. And I'm gonna go down slow. All right, guys, here's the dilemma. I need your input on this, so please throw it down in the comments what you guys think. As far as the fitment goes, I really don't want to roll these fenders too much. I love how clean the body lines are and how clean they were before when I was perfectly tucking with the 1 inch. Now the 1.5 inch is still a little too much. So do you guys think I should just throw those back on there and just scrap the 1.5 inch? I mean, this video was about showing you guys how I make them, so it's not the biggest deal that I can't run the 1.5 inch, but I don't know. Do I roll the fenders or should I just throw the 1 inch back on? Either way, I enjoyed making the spacers. I just spent so much time on them that it sucked the life out of me once I saw the fitment, and I was like, was 1.5 too much? 2 inches was too much. 1 might be perfect for this setup. It's so close. I don't know if I should roll. I want to daily this car. I truly do. I want to go to every meet. I want to be able to drive this over an hour away to go hang out with people, show them the car, and just meet new people. So I don't know if the 1.5 inch is the way to go because I want to drive this car all the time. But what do you guys think? Throw it down in the comments. That'd be greatly appreciated. I just want to hear you guys' insights. But remember, your vehicle's unique to you. Don't let me put you down. Go to some car meets, go to some barbecues, meet new friends, and wrench on your cars. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.